Hello and welcome to a very special show of Cricket on Air. Friends, most of us really work hard and aspire to be at the top of our profession, to achieve that place in history which no one can then take away from us. Our guest today is one such person who has a special place in history. Please welcome Mr. Balwinder Singh Sandhu. Mr. Sandhu is a former Indian Test cricketer. He was a part of the legendary Indian squad that won the World Cup in 1983.
Mr. Sandhu, thank you so much for talking to Cricket on Air.
My pleasure. I'd love to talk about cricket. If it's on the air, much better. I can get my views across to the listeners.
Thank you. It's really a pleasure. You were born and brought up in Mumbai, a place that really has awesome cricket culture. Could you share some of your experiences of how you got introduced to cricket, or any interesting story from your childhood that really made you believe that you have to become a cricketer?
There is a culture in Bombay that every youngster plays cricket. They all start with tennis ball cricket. And I was also one of them. So I formed my own team. I was just 13 years old when I formed my own team, and with all youngsters. And there's one guy called Chiti Punjabi. He used to come and play with us. He was senior to us, quite senior. And there are 2-3 seniors, and he was one of them. And he always pushed me to take up leather ball cricket, which I was reluctant to take. Due to his persistence, I started playing with leather ball, and I failed in the first year. I was complete failure in the first year. I hardly got runs, but he kept on picking me in the side. He is confident that I'll perform. So because of his confidence in me and in my ability, next season I started doing well.
Okay.
And that's how things started moving. And I played for Khalsa College earlier, and then I failed in science, then appeared in October, and then 6 months nothing to do. Then I took up cricket very seriously. Leather ball cricket seriously. And that's the time when I got in touch with Mr. Ramakant Achrekar, who is also Sachin's coach. And I started playing a lot of matches. He saw in me some talent, and he gave me more opportunity to play matches, and that's how my career started.
Wow, that's
and I'm one of the first guys to play from Achrekar's camp to play for India.
Wow, that's really a huge piece of information for most of us. I think we've all heard about Ramakant Achrekar, and we've heard about how he taught Sachin Tendulkar, but it's really great to know that you also were from his school. So do you have early memories with his coaching or something unique about it?
When I started bowling in the nets, I used to bowl spin, and I was a spinner, and I played university as a spinner. Then I was bowling pace as well. One day sir came and told me that Sandhu, you got a good in-swinger. Develop karo score.
Okay.
I said that's why when I came to know that the ball that goes in is an in-swinger, I was just bowling and having fun. It's not serious at that time.
Time for a quick break, friends. When we come back, we'll talk to Mr. Sandhu about his unusual debut in international cricket. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Cricket on Air, friends. I am Shri, and we are talking today to one of the heroes of the World Cup of 1983, Mr. Balwinder Singh Sandhu.
Your test match debut against Pakistan in Pakistan was something very unusual. Can you tell us a bit of some of the memories that you had about that?
Yes. When we went to Pakistan, I was not doing that well. I was okay bowling in the net and not the main bowler of the side. But in the fourth test match at Hyderabad, Madan Lal reported unfit due to heel injury in the morning of the game. And Sunil was going for the toss. He told me that I'm in the side, and I'm playing my first game. And it was only 15-20 minutes of the time that I got to get the hang that all that I wanted in my life was to become a test cricketer. And there it is, in 20 minutes time I'll be there. Now, the first over that I bowled, I was feeling a bit nervous and tight.
Right.
And then I thought, okay, to hell with it. This is what I wanted to do. So let me go out there and give my best.
Correct.
The third or fourth over, I got Mohsin Khan out like before.
Right.
And Harun Rashid came in, and I got him out bowled with an outswinger which pitched on leg and stump, and I took his off stump out.
Right. First ball.
First ball, Harun Rashid. And that was his last test match.
Oh, okay.
And when we batted, we were struggling for 125 or something.
Correct.
Or 7. And when I went into bat, Mohinder was batting, and I said, don't worry, I'll stick around. So I went on batting on the front foot all the time to fast bowlers. And somehow or other, there was a partnership going on. I got some 71 in that match.
Yeah.
First, I had a partnership with Mohinder and then with Balwinder Singh. And after that, we lost the game, but I ended up being the highest scorer of the league. So when you're young, you tend to take more risk. The other incident that I remember was that they put silly point and forward short leg and slip to me against Iqbal Qasim. And he tossed the ball up. So I stepped out and hit him over long off. Wow. So Imran put long on and long off. And the next ball, Iqbal again tossed it up. And I again stepped out to hit over long on and long off. It went for a 6. I just wanted to prove that the first shot was not a fluke. I can hit.
That's it for this segment, friends. We'll come back to talk more to Mr. Sandhu about the World Cup victory of 1983. Stay tuned. This is Shri welcoming you back to Cricket on Air. We have a special guest with us today, Mr. Balwinder Singh Sandhu.
I think probably the defining moment of most of the people was the World Cup victory of 1983. What kind of memories do you have about that World Cup?
It's a fantastic memory. There's a fantastic memory of that World Cup. Our first game was against West Indies in Old Trafford.
Right.
And we won that game, and that gave us the confidence, okay,
right,
we have beaten the best team. And now all we need to do is just keep on playing cricket the way we have played against West Indies. And the luck was with us. And again, I strongly believe that if all the players are thinking in one direction, the God also is with you. The luck also comes with you.
Okay. Any interesting things that happened in the dressing room or during your team meetings discussing about the opposition or discussing about their own strategy?
Team meeting was usually fun because Kapil was always speaking in English because Roger was not able to understand English.
Oh, okay.
And Kapil would fumble Kapil's English. We all know is what he has in mind. He choose a wrong word to say.
Okay.
It was always hilarious.
Okay.
And Kirti Ajad would sit beside Kapil. So if we are sitting in front of him, so we used to get caught laughing. Myself, Ravi and Sandeep, we always got caught laughing because of his wrong choice of word. But he took it in his stride, and Kapil was a great sport.
Right.
But he kept on saying what he wanted to say. And there's a lot of leg pulling and humor. There was a lot of friendly environment in the dressing room or in the team meeting.
That's great. And now I think your personal probably moment of the World Cup. Tell us a little bit about that dismissal of Gordon Greenwich in the final.
See, Gordon had got out to me to an in-swinger in a test match in Trinidad on 0. He got bowled to me.
Okay.
And whenever I used to bowl close to the stump, in-swinger close to the stump, he was not picking it. It happens with some batsmen, every batsman that they can't pick some bowler's delivery.
Right.
And it might happen with him also. And he got out to me bowled on 0. In that test match, both the openers got out to me on 0. And there was a betting in those two friends that bet that Gavaskar will get more runs than Gordon and Desmond Haynes put together. And when Gavaskar scored 4 runs, he paid off that money to his friend.
Wow.
But when both the openers got out, he was looking for that friend to give him back the money because he won it. So even in the one-day game, Gordon was not picking my in-swingers. Now somehow or other that was in my mind that he is not picking those in-swingers. And again in the first one-day game in the World Cup, he got out to me bowled. And as we were going down from the dressing room to field, Kapil said, "Get me the first wicket quickly, so your job will be done."
Okay.
Getting first wicket is important when you're in a low-scoring game. Then you start digging in your past and digging into your hard drive, right? What needs to be done.
Right.
So somehow or other I felt that Gordon, I can get him out with the in-swinger. My first over was all-out swinger and the ball was swinging a lot and it was not easy to control the swing.
Okay.
And Gordon was watching from the non-striker end. When he came into bat against me and I bowled my in-swinger, close to some in-swinger, he thought that the ball is going out and he left the ball. But the ball, after hitting the seam, it came in sharply and took the bail of a middle stump. That raised the hopes of that we can do it now. We got the first wicket. But Kapil's catch was a turning point. It was a great catch by Kapil. Only Kapil could have taken that catch. No, none of the other players would have got 2 yards close to that ball.
Time for a quick break, friends. When we come back, we'll talk to Mr. Sandhu about a book that he has authored. Welcome back to Cricket on Air, friends. We are talking to Mr. Balwinder Singh Sandhu today.
You've written a book. Tell us a little bit about it. Devil's Pack, yeah.
I was into coaching now, and I've been coaching for nearly 20 years now.
Okay.
And I felt that today's generation, the players are not aware of what the generation of 70s and 60s and 70s did or how they felt. And one of them said that he had seen this person in the commentator box, but he was not aware that he's pointing to Gavaskar.
Okay.
He's a commentator.
Okay.
He said he also played cricket.
Okay.
I felt that they're not aware of what players have achieved in their time.
Right.
And what those characters were. Also, because of this professional and commercialization of the game, now not many have time to, senior players have time to interact with the youngsters. The storytelling is gone.
Correct.
So I wanted to write a book about my teammates, how I looked at them and what I learned from them and what they were made of, what was the character,
right,
the different shades of the characters, the sense of humor, what kind of human being they were. So all those shades I wanted to put it in a story form so that people will, but once you read that book, you'll know more about the person,
right,
what he is.
Correct.
That's what I wanted to do with that book, and I think I'm quite successful with that.
That's great.
The feedback that I'm getting is very good. Some of them have bought 20 books and gifted to their friends who read it.
Wow.
Because they enjoyed it.
Wow.
One of our managing director of the company where I work, Rashtra Chemical and Fertilizer, he is CEO of that company. He was gifted that book and he read the book in one sitting.
Wow. Wow.
He enjoyed so much that he read the book in one sitting. Then, and of late, Mr. Kushwant Singh bought the book and he wrote on his blog appreciating the book. So that's a good thing that's been written about the book.
That's great. I'm sure a lot of us are really eager to read that book. So let me just put in a shout out to our listeners.
You can purchase Mr. Sandhu's book, The Devil's Pack, at rupapublications.com. Time for a quick break, friends. We'll be back to talk about India's World Cup victory of 2011 and of course, Sachin Tendulkar. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Cricket on Air, friends. I'm Shri and today we are having an interesting conversation with Mr. Balwinder Singh Sandhu.
Yes, now let me just fast forward a little bit from the World Cup of 1983 to the World Cup of 2011. You are in this unique position that you saw the 1983 World Cup because you're a part of it, and now you are. I'm sure you must have seen the 2011 World Cup that just recently ended. How do you see these two World Cups? How different were they?
See, 1983 World Cup, before that World Cup, the Indian team had not done well in one-day games or in that World Cup, in the previous World Cup. So not much was expected and not many thought that we will do anything big in this World Cup.
Okay.
The expectation was low and what we did was unexpected and something great for Indian cricket because it was a turning point in Indian cricket.
Correct.
A turning point in the sense that we started believing that we can win big tournaments and the self-belief helped us to improve later on as a cricketer.
Right.
No? After that, we won many tournaments, but that win, one win, gave a lot of self-confidence to the players who followed us after that.
Right. And of course, I think no conversation of Indian cricket is complete without the mention of Sachin Tendulkar. I think everyone, past cricketers, present cricketers, and I'm sure even generations that will come, will always look up to Sachin Tendulkar as a role model. What do you want to say about him?
See, when we won the World Cup, Sachin was 10 years old.
Correct.
And he celebrated that World Cup win. And he got inspired by that win.
Okay.
And he also always wanted to win the World Cup.
Right.
That was one thing that we always have had in his mind. And he always wanted to be part of the World Cup winning team.
Right.
He also wrote forward for my book. And I had a lot of interaction with Sachin since 1989, 88 onward.
Okay.
He was from my same club.
Okay.
And he used to come and have practice games against us and as a small kid, him and Vinod Kamli.
Right.
So I knew him for long and we knew that he's very talented, but he was very, very focused. He's a very focused guy. He is born to play cricket. I think cricket loves him now.
Exactly. So one of the things that people say about Sachin is he's undoubtedly a great player, but there are still question marks. There have always been question marks about his captaincy. Do you think everything went wrong there, or was it just maybe bad timing when he became the captain of the India team?
See, I think he became captain at the wrong time because he didn't have the support staff that was required to take the pressure off him. When he was captain, I think Kapil was coach. And Kapil is an instinctive player and he thinks that way. And even Sachin is nearly the same.
Okay.
So they didn't complement each other at that time. Okay. And even in the team, there were some characters who were not playing for the team.
Oh, okay.
That did help him. Though he's not a bad captain as such. At the same time, he's such a great player that things come very easy to him.
Right.
And he fails to understand. All great players, they fail to understand that why the other guy is not able to do what he can do.
Right.
And that's where that frustration creeps in. But later on now, he is much more mature as a person and understands the game much better than what he did in when he became the captain. But at the same time, he is a good team man. And he was the guy who said, okay, make Dhoni captain.
Correct. Correct.
Because we believed in Dhoni that he is a good captain.
Right.
Who can take the game forward. And he, like a naval soldier, he supports him and is like a mentor to all the teammates.
Correct.
Time for a quick break, friends. When we come back, we'll talk more about the current state of Indian cricket with Mr. Balwinder Singh Sandhu. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Cricket on Air, friends. I'm Shri and today we are having an interesting discussion with Mr. Balwinder Singh Sandhu.
So talking about youngsters, and you have been the coach, you've been at the NCA and you've coached quite a few Ranji Trophy teams. I'm sure a lot of cricket fans, when they actually see the Indian team, quite a few are worried that, Sachin himself or Rahul Dravid, VVS Lakshman, Zaheer Khan, these are people who are kind of in the latter half of their careers. So do you see a lot of young talent coming through in India who can replace these great players?
Yeah, definitely. The youngsters are doing well. The team that went to West Indies has a lot of youngsters, very talented youngsters.
Right.
And they will mature by the time these senior great cricketers will retire. And those guys will be matured enough to take up their place. It's not easy to take up the place of Rahul Dravid or Lakshman or Sachin Tendulkar. It's too big a place. But again, each one has to go at some time or the other.
Right.
And the guy who's replacing him, it's a pressure on him. But I'm sure they will make their own name in time to come. The youngsters who are going to replace them, they will be bringing with them their own brand of cricket, and which will be entertaining and as enjoyable as these guys here.
Wow, I'm sure all of India is looking forward to Suresh Rainas and Virat Kohli to really start shining as possible, and hopefully at some point taking over the mantle from Tendulkar and Dravid and Lakshman.
Time for a quick break, friends. When we come back, we'll talk about the most talked about question these days, the question of IPL versus the country. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Cricket on Air, friends. I'm Shri and today we are having an interesting discussion with Mr. Balwinder Singh Sandhu.
I don't think any discussion nowadays can be complete without the general question of IPL versus the country, or playing for your club versus playing for a country. We see this perfect example of Chris Gayle having such an awesome tournament in IPL 4, being the man of the tournament, but he doesn't make it for playing for the West Indies. Or even some of the Indian cricketers nowadays, they played in the IPL, but some of them have decided to take rest when the West Indies tour came about. What are your thoughts about the debate about IPL versus playing for your country?
Yeah, again, I think it's up to the individual what goals they have in mind.
Right.
If their goal is to play for India in Test cricket and make a name, definitely they will give preference to playing for India. At the same time, some of them are at a stage where they want, if they play IPL, they get more money and have a better living later on. Okay. And the youngsters who are playing there, they have got the energy to do it both in 2020 cricket and the Test cricket. So they are doing both. But it's not easy to do that because now IPL 2020 cricket is high intensity game. Where injuries are bound to happen.
Right.
But it's again an individual call what they want to. One that gets involved so much into the team that he wants his team to win, and because of that, sometimes these injuries will happen. Like what happened to Gautam.
Right.
He felt like he's part of the team that's doing well, and if he can play with that injury, and it's not that the first time somebody is playing with injuries.
Correct.
Many of them have played with injuries even in test matches and done well, and the team has done well. So this is part and parcel of the game now. Injuries are bound to happen due to workload, due to impact injuries, due to work hazard. So it's all part of the game. Only thing is the player got to understand that when to take break and rest and when to go overboard with the cricket. Again, it's an individual call, I will say. What goals they have in life.
Always great to talk to someone who has played the game. It's always really awesome to know about the thoughts, the stories that come about with the experience that someone like you has. Mr. Sandhu, thank you so much for talking to Cricket on Air. I'm sure
it's my pleasure.
All of the cricket lovers in the US space would love listening to you, and I'm sure everyone is looking forward to, at some point, maybe interacting with you.
Definitely. If I'm down in that part of the world, I'll definitely would like to sit in your studio and interact with people out there. Thanks a lot. It's my pleasure.
That's it from Cricket on Air, friends. We hope you enjoyed our conversation with Mr. Balwinder Singh Sandhu. If you have any feedback for us, feel free to reach out to us at feedback@cricketonair.com. You can also connect with us over Facebook at facebook.com/cricketonair. See you again next week, friends. Until then, tada, goodbye, shabba khair and sayonara.